As soon as see me, so me can't lose a fight or faith. Sunshine too long, so we pray for the rain. Family and wait on the war, me no play. Fight for me family and pay my price. In my life, me no one far, fi no far. Me no one dark.
It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru, Sanda, Amadu. Tonight I'm here with
Akosua, Otchere.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes, as Ghana's economy takes multiple hits, a major problem is staring us in the face. This one is arising at the ports as officials there complain about low traffic. Also coming up, Online Drivers Union welcome a directive by the DVLA for all digital platform operators to halt the collection of the new digital transport fee. We'll be helping you make sense of that. And later on Eyewitness News, the Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, continues to kick against the newly introduced bills in Parliament, tax revenue bills. Today, the group petitioned the president through the Minister of Trade, the Honorable Katie Hammond. We'll be asking them what they want the president to do. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
digital marketing strategist emphasizes importance of banks giving priority to the data security of their online banking customers.
That's in 50 minutes from the business desk of Citi FM and Citi TV. Eyewitness News is live across the nation on a number of affiliate stations. If you go to the Western region, we are on Adrinpa 100.7 FM in Takwa. We are also on Beach 105.5 FM in Takrady and Sky Power 93.5 FM also in Takrady. In the Bono region, we are on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In Ashanti region, on Adrinpa 99.9 FM in Nkawie. In the Volta region, on Heritage 107.3 FM in Hohwe, Freedom 88.1 FM in Sugakofa. In the Northern region, on Radio Gaki 88.3 FM in Saboba. Upper East, we are on Quality 88.7 FM in Garu and Nobia FM 98.1 FM in Nalerigu in the Northeast region. Do let us know what you make of the stories we are bringing you. The WhatsApp number is 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. You can send tweets using the hashtag Citi Newsroom. You can also tweet at Umaru Sanda or at Citi 973. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. Let us know what you make of the stories. You can watch us on all those platforms and let us know what you make of the stories that we're bringing you. Let's settle for details of our stories now. And the first one has to do with the grand government agenda. Imports and exports is a big part of what we're supposed to do if our economy were to thrive. But we have cited a letter over the past 24 hours, which letter is coming from the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. It is addressed to all the stakeholders in the ports industry or in the shipping industry. It's addressed to the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI. It's addressed to the Chamber of Commerce. It's addressed to the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. It is addressed to the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. It is addressed to the Ghana Union of Traders Association. It is addressed as well to the Association of Customs House Agents. The letter is titled Invitation to a Meeting, and it says, we have observed a general decline in port traffic in recent times. The phenomenon, according to our data, started in June or July 2022 and continued through to the end of the first quarter of 2023 without any sign of improvement. As a major stakeholder in the maritime industry, you are kindly invited to a meeting to discuss the important subject. The agenda is decline in port traffic, causes, and the way forward. Date, Thursday, March 30, 2023, time 2 p.m. Venue, GPHE Towers, boardroom, ninth floor. We are sorry for the short notice and any inconvenience is deeply regretted. Yours faithfully, for the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Michael Luguje, Director General. Copy to the Directors of Port, Tema, Takrady, and Keta, and other officers, the Chief Executive Officer of the Meridian Port Services Limited, and so on. So this is a letter that was written on Thursday, which letter has led to the raising of eyebrows by persons in that industry. We're going to hear now from industry players how bad the situation is and how challenging it is really. What seems to be the problem? Because for the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority to complain about low traffic or reduce traffic at the ports, now that would have its own attendant revenue problems, which means that the finance ministry, for that matter, the Ghana Revenue Authority, would not be recording the revenue that we would be expecting through the long room at Tema. So these are all issues that we are looking at. First on the line, I have okay, so I have interested parties on this. We'll be speaking to Samson Asaki Awingobit of the Importers and Exporters Association. But first, let's understand what seems to be the technical issues at play here. Kwabna Ofosu Apia is the president of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders. Mr. Ofosu Apia, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Umaru. Just a quick question there. I'm the immediate past president of the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders.
Okay, apologies for that.
Great.
Now, what is happening at the ports? Because the trend, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Great. There appears to be a trend, which trend has become very worrisome, for which the Director General of the Ports Harbours Authority would write a letter summoning all of you, or maybe begging all of you people to attend upon a meeting. I think I have a challenge with my communication. Let me just rectify a few technical issues.
All right, okay.
Please be on the line.
Okay.
Mr. Fodabo, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right, so I'll ask you the question. The first question is, what seems to be the problem, this trend that the GPHA is talking about? How bad is it?
Okay, Umaru. Good evening. It is that bad. You know, we are intermediaries, and we want to think that along the line, the trader will always find a way to recoup his investment, particularly depending on the elasticity of whatever that he is selling. So, but then of course, it's almost looking at like all the space is available for us to channel some of these grievances are locked. Locked, probably not so visibly locked, but to the extent that even when you complain, you have sent reports, you've done write-ups, you've met people, it's beginning to look like nobody is listening. So when my president, somewhere last week, Wednesday, because we've been having this conversation, we have seen the refire being emptied, we have seen the GJT terminal sometimes. I mean, these are very, very busy areas. We have seen situations where sometimes in the day you have 7 containers being defined and all of that. Okay, but at a certain point we were thinking, what is happening? So it doesn't look like probably we are exaggerating the situation on the ground. But then when we had this Gapoha call, when he called me somewhere last Wednesday and told me that, look, this is an invite for us to go and probably brainstorm on what is the effect of it. Then we say, then it means that it's not hitting only ourselves. So we obliged the Director General, a very good fellow. And when we went there, trust you me, the statistics as were outlined really bear the fact. It supported what we have been experiencing over time. And Umaru, it is grim to think that this port, Tema Port, mirrors imports into the country. I mean, positive import I want to put on, because these are the places where you have security almost watertight. So it mirrors imports into town, and there's a very direct correlation between imports and revenue. Okay, so if Tema Port has bled to the point where almost an SOS call is being relayed, then you know that we have a problem. And when we went into the meeting, person after person, the sing song was the same. It just pointed to a few things. We said that, look, Gapoha was probably not doing anything wrong. Gapoha have taken the challenge, that is the port have taken the challenge to expand the port, to introduce state-of-the-art facilities, to the extent that, Ghana has, in fact, when Ghana deployed MPS, it was the state-of-the-art, the prime of prime, So we've done everything right to attract any kind of vessel. Okay, so what happened?
All right. Can COVID be blamed on this, that maybe because of COVID, imports would reduce just as exports have, or this cannot be blamed on COVID?
Umaru, you see, between the last few months of 2020 and a heavy part of 2021, we saw freight rates ballooned sky. They went very fast, but at the point it stabilized. Even in 2020, the statistics are there. In 2020, when we had COVID proper, when COVID had hit us, when there was disruption, we were just running around like headless chickens. 2020, between 2018 and 2022, 2020 actually recorded the highest volume. The statistics are there. Okay, to the extent that we are a consuming market and the parameters are right for importation to come. The imports came, no matter how high they were. How high the situation as a result of the freight rates were. The imports were still coming through. But then after 2020, 2021, 2022, then you want to ask yourself, what really happened? What happened? Because, trust you me, within the port and the regulations that controlled just about every other thing within the port, everybody was just weighing in on the high factor. Government taxes were going up. IGFs were being taken in inordinate manners, and all these things, the only variable that you keep constant is the traders. We are not getting new generation of traders coming in. These are same traders who go and come. Remember, government in this space doesn't do much business. Okay, and they've been crying. The traders have been crying all over. But it looks to me, seriously, as if we are on some kind of a suicide mission. So it's in the books. To what extent can we keep taxing ourselves out of, even if we have a COVID, Russia and Ukraine hole, to what extent can we keep taxing ourselves out of this hole?
So the government appears to have, milked the ports. That is what has led us to this, you think, or you estimate?
Trust you me, a simple answer is yes. Okay? Because, look, anybody who knows the terrain of the sea on the beach road towards Tema, a few years down the lane, you could see vessels line up, calling on Tema. Today, when you go stand on the beach, I don't know if you know where the beach is at Aflau.
Okay, I don't know that, but I know that when you use the Nungwasa Kumono beach road, you would see in the night, especially, there's a lot of you see a lot of lights in the sea.
A city. You would think it is a city. Try that this evening. But when you go to Aflau and you're on the beach, the beach now, where they call the beach, now go see. There's a reverse of that situation there. Okay, and if you look at the global indicators, Cote d'Ivoire and Togo seems to be cashing in on something that we are not doing right. You see, we the freight forwarders are a mirror, our mirror image in the dark. The mirror image of the freight forwarder, and for that matter, the customs broker in the dark, is the smuggler. The next question you want to ask is, the commodities that are not coming through our port, are they still available on our market? Are we in short supply of frozen food? Do we not have are we in short supply of cigarettes? Are we in short supply of rice? They are all on the market.
So the point is that the goods are coming, but they are not coming through our port. So they
are not coming through our port, and customs at the borders will not give you corresponding figures. If they were coming through Tema, I mean, if I should put on my nationalistic cap and put away the business cap, I would say that if they are coming through Togo or Cote d'Ivoire and they are coming through the approved route, probably customs will still be smiling and government will still be smiling to the bank. Then it means that the requisite revenue is being collected. But if you cannot put in place situations such that you can take advantage of a security-tight area like Tema, Takoradi, and you want to take it through Togo, where clearly the risk there, looking at the gaping security quagmire that we have, where you don't have any properly controlled gate, why would you want to open yourself up to this kind of situation?
So what are we using to compare? If we say traffic is low at our ports, which country are we comparing with, or which period are we comparing with?
Look, at the meeting that we just had, this is a week today, just around this time, some of us had to leave because we had other commitment. But 7 days from now. Hello?
I'm listening to you.
7 days from now, between January and February, we had a downward figure of 1.51 million, okay? 1.51 million between February and between January and February to 1 million metric tons. That is the decline in throughput, okay? From 2021 to 2022, we had a similar situation. The Gapua folks actually reported that they've had about 15% decline in cargo throughput within the quarter that we are talking about. And if you look at the Togo Cote d'Ivoire figures, it is actually rising. You see.
So the cargo is being diverted there because it is cheaper to import through those countries.
It is cheaper to import through those countries. Look, this is my personal situation. I had a client coming through on the 26th January 2023. His duty on one container of an item whose name I don't want to mention was 522,333.85. On the 5th of April, we cleared the same consignment, the same quantity, and it was at 582,819.80 with a difference of 60,480. I mean, who can predict this? And this was as a result of a 12.5% VAT that had just gone to 15%. And we are looking forward to the effect of the Trinity going forward. So these situations are, Umaru, they are really making life so very, very unpredictable for the trader.
About the unpredictability, do you have, as a result of this, many people having their uncleared goods at the ports because they can't catch up with the daily increases in rates?
If we had uncleared goods at the port, that would even be a different conversation. But the reality of the situation is that this unpredictable situation did not start today. So a lot of the traders have actually hedged. They've hedged expectations. So they are not even coming through. And if the few of them, you see, the large traders are actually, they've diverted resources. The few that are still bearing the situation, a few of them are passing through Togo, genuinely or otherwise.
When you say the others who have diverted, what does it mean? They've gone into different businesses?
No, exactly. I have 3 of my star clients who have gone into real estate. Some of them are buying land, and they think that this is where their resources can be most secured.
Okay? They've abandoned the port altogether.
Yes, they've abandoned the port altogether. In 2022, one actually told me what he had done after 6 months. I just pray that he didn't get a haircut because that's where he lodged his funds. You see?
Wow. How high or how many? Okay, how regular are calls from importers for you to divert their goods through other ports aside Ghana's ports? Is that a regular thing?
You see, I just mentioned something as a preamble to this discussion that we have a mirror image, and that mirror image is in the dark. Nobody does smuggling business by announcing it.
No, I'm talking about genuine people who are doing genuine import would say to you that, listen, I think let's clear these goods, let's clear this vehicle through Togo, Lome, instead of Tema.
Yeah.
Do you get those things coming through?
Umaru, short of the port and shipping line charges, every other charge remains the same, particularly regulatory charges. They all remain the same. So if the importer makes his calculations and he thinks that he can stomach the port and shipping line charges and he want to reroute through Togo, the only thing he might be avoiding is probably the shipping line charges. But the regulatory charges, the charges which have occasioned as a result of government policy, taxes and everything, remains the same. That's what I'm talking about.
So it remains the same even at a flower border or at Elubo?
Even at a flower and Elubo.
Okay, so you can bring your car through Lome, but when you get to a flower border, you would have to pay the same thing you would have paid at Tema. So there's no way you can escape unless you are doing illegal.
Exactly.
I
see. That is the catch. But the problem through that routine is that is where our mirror image in the dark comes into play. Okay. So then it is an open game to the one who dares the most. But then you want to ask, what are the security agencies doing? I'm sure you've heard of the word cartel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you have a very good cartel that has been formed, and what we will have to be smart about is that these smugglers back in the days were just dealing with illicit goods, okay, contrabands. But if they get emboldened to do business with big-time importers, then we are charting a certain path that will be extremely dangerous for us. You remember Colombia, Mexico, the Medellin, and they all started from smuggling trade.
I don't know if you have done any work on it to be able to answer me directly and right now, but the question is, what would you consider as nuisance taxes at the port that the government should take away so that the GPA will start receiving the volumes that it was hoping it to receive?
You say immediately, I think these new taxes that are just coming in, it has to be reviewed.
The new three.
In as much as they have been passed, government will have to sit back and look at the effect of even the 3% on and all those things on the trader. 2, the regulatory agencies. You see, Umaru, we don't have any problem with the regulatory agencies pitching camp and taking money for work that they have done. But how do you describe me bringing 100 containers of the same item, and then when a regulatory agency has to take money on a certain batch that has been processed, how do you account for the regulatory agency who will not necessarily have to work on all the 100 containers, but we just take a sample of one because they are all in the same batch? How would you describe the situation where these agencies or these authorities will have to charge a box when what is really happening is that their regulatory functions is just ensuring that they work on that batch that is coming in. You see, the business of government, once upon a time, we were told was not business, but it is governance. But trust you me, the regulatory agencies have taken it to another notch. It is like business, and business. The pitch camp at the port, and every manner of frustration is being thrown in there willy-nilly, whether their bosses know or not. But their operatives on the ground are cashing in. Okay.
I see. I see. It's unfortunate. Before you go, just on the lighter side, I see that the Director General's letter is also copied to the Director of the Keta Port. And the Director of the Keta Port has been the butt of jokes in the country in the past few years since that emerged that there actually isn't any physical port in Keta. What is the state of... Do we have a Keta Port now? For which reason we have a director who's been copied in this letter? Do you guys import anything through Keta Port?
Maybe it's just a preemptive strike. He wants to maybe pre-warn him of what is possible to happen to the Keta Port should it come up to steam.
So it's futuristic. It's not now.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Okay.
Thank you so much. That's Kwabena Ofosu Appiah is president of the... Not president, he's... immediate past president and council member of the Institute of Freight Forwarders. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let's hear now from the traders. Samson Nasaki Awingobit speaks for the Importers and Exporters Association, the port. Samson, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, Umaru. You have kept me for long.
I am terribly sorry. I am terribly sorry.
Also tried to reach out to me, and anyway, let me say good evening to my colleague, Kwabena Ofosu, and good evening to your listeners.
Good evening. You know, Citi is your station, so you value us above everybody else. So we are grateful for your patience.
We are together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Something. Were you at the meeting? And have you found the problems to the Director General's lamentations?
Well, Umaru, your station is a big station, and when it comes to 5:30, many Ghanaians are listening to you within and outside the country. Let me make this impression. Let me make this correction. First and foremost, I would like to render unqualified apology to the Director General of Ghana Port and Harbour Authority and its management. Why am I saying this? I have to apologize to render this unqualified apology to them because this letter happened to come from my office. This letter that all the media people houses are having it this today, and it's all flying all over. I posted this letter on our platform because any letter that comes to my office, we have an Importers Association platform, then we have a media platform. But this was posted on the Importers Association platform. I don't know how come that one of us, and I say one of us, of the importer, is able to pick this letter and push it out of the social media, and it ended up in the media, and that's what is happening. We don't intend, Importers and Exporters Association don't intend to ridicule Ghana Port and Harbour Authority or to vilify them. But however, the import of the letter was a genuine way, a good cause that the GPHA has really called because they have shown management concern that look, you cannot be a manager and you are working in the institution, then you are to perceive to it that the institution is progressing. And so when you see the institution production is not increasing, definitely you have to call your management team or your staff, or if you have key stakeholders, you definitely have to find out from. And I think that was a good job that they did. But the way it came out of my office to the social media or to the media is what is a worrisome situation. And I want to take this opportunity to appeal to them that we did not, or my outfit did not intend to ridicule GPG or to put them to the media for what they suffered today. I think
the person from your office, even though you apologize, fine, apology they will accept, but I think in terms of the right to information, your person has done a very good job. Please find him and give him a bonus, because this is a national security issue that the public ought to know about. And if since 2022, June, our volumes at the ports have been dwindling, then that's a national security issue. And it's all important that the Ghanaian population gets to know. And if this is how we get to know, we are really happy. Please thank the person who leaked the letter from your end for us.
Mother, I agree with you to some extent, but it should have come from GPHA direct, not from...
but they have not. They have not brought it out. In fact, since this letter emerged, we have been calling their office for comments on what the situation is now. We do not have a response. So we are happy.
That is why I have to sue leadership by an unqualified apology. I did not intend to cause damages or whatever.
No problem. I understand perfectly. Let's get to the crux of the issue now.
The truth of the matter is that the bone of contention of the letter, or the nitty-gritty of the letter, is what we have to discuss. It's true that my senior comrade, Kwabena Ofosu, have enumerated a lot of issues. It is true that the port community or the GPHA is having registered some drop of cargo in the port. And if you pick the data 2021, they made 1.5 million containers. 2022, they made 1.2. So you can see how drastically the sub reduction it is.
Give me the statistics again.
2021, they made containers that came to Ghana was 1.51 million containers. In 2022, just last year, now that we are in this first quarter, we are not even in second quarter on the 6th of April today. Containers that came for 2022 was reduced from 1.51 million to 1.2 million containers. If you take at the cargo, if you put both cargo, containerized cargo and liner cargo and rural cargo all together, the per metric tons, it has also dropped to 1.2 million. That is how bad it is. And that is why if you are driving in Tema these days, you will see the reefer yard container being empty. That is why if about, I think 2 months ago or so, or a month ago, you saw a video from Golden Jubilee showing that there was an empty, isn't it? I think you saw, I don't know if Citi FM, you saw that video or not. Again, if you ask MPS itself, they will tell you that there has been a drop of containers. Their numbers is not like 2019, 2018, 2020. So it is true that there is a sharp drop of import into this country. And we told GPH that it was good they called this meeting, but the point is beyond the GPH. It is not about GPH. That is why import is not coming to this country. It's as a result of government policy, government fiscal policy. One, the total reversal of the Benjamin value has quadrupled to put import duties into this country. Umaru, someone who used to pay for a reefer container, maybe chicken leg cutter, let's say 80,000 Ghana cedis. Today, that person is paying over 270,000 Ghana cedis. By the time the person pays his fees and charges and other administrative charges, will end up paying 300,000 just for one container. How will we be able to sell? This has also got to do with while the reversal of the inflation of the Benjamin value has a negative effect on the duty. You also know about the depreciation of the city, which you know that customs are using. We are using city indexing in calculating the duties at the port. Currently, I think customs is using between 11 cities or so calculating the duty at the port for importers. That's also sort up. Again, the 2023 budget that we introduced the 2.5 VAT, which was also implemented in the port, I think in January, now making VAT 15%, has also increased the cost of doing business. And then that said, the fourthly is has a result to the shipping lines local handling charges. After one pays freight, when I say freight, meaning I'm taking my goods for LPC, I'm taking it to Kumasi. I paid they charge me, I paid. I expect to go to a LPC Kumasi station and pick my cargo. For me to get to LPC Kumasi, and another manager there will tell me, look, yes, even though you are paid for the transportation, here you have to also pay another money. And that is also ringing in percentage terms. And so you see all these variables making the port very, very expensive. Even though GPH have invested so much, MPA has invested so much, there's the turnaround time of a vessel call in our port here, where a ship used to go to a port and spend 2 weeks before they can discharge the vessel finish, or 3 weeks. Now within 3 days, 2 days, you can discharge it because we have up to the modern port equipment in terms of shore handling, in terms of discharging of containers from the vessel. So spending more days, or even with the ICOM system in place, using 1 day, you can clear your cargo. If you have put all the documentation, everything accurate, give total figures accurate to custom, they will be able to come at the evaluation and then the classification for you to pay your duty, and even clear within 1 to 2 days time. So that is perfectly, but the cost, the duty component, and coupled with what my very good friend Kwame Akosua have also enumerated concerning the institutional fees and charges. While we are struggling with the duties at the port, while we are talking about the reversal of the Benjamin value has lead up to increase in duty, while we are talking about the city depreciation and the rate that customs are using lead up to an increase in the duty, while we are saying that the 2.5% VAT that was implemented recently has also increased the cost of doing business. Shipping lines are also local handling charges increase the cost of doing business. The institutions, i.e., Energy Commission, EPA, Standards Authority, Food and Drugs Authority, Many of these institutions who in the port too are also in a part. If they hear that I'm bringing goods, i.e. maybe meat or rice, and FDA is taking maybe 3,000 for inspection fee, Standards Authority also want to take the same thing. Another institution wants to. So at the end of the day, one commodity, you don't know what is it. But if you go to Ivory Coast, if you go to Togo, those charges are not much like that. Okay? And what is happening is that, yes, the cargo is not coming through the port. If the GRA and DPOJ has gone to Togo, they realize that the cargo, Ghanaian cargoes are not diverted there. The reason is that they are not diverted there and come in as it is like I clear goods at the port, I'm taking to Kumasi. They know that I clear the container right now at the port, it's taking to Kumasi, now it's registered. But Ghanaian businesses now has gone to Togo, Lomé, put up warehouse or rent warehouses. When they clear it, they clear as if it's goods that they want to consume within Togo market. Then they went and store it there. When they store it there, then they started bringing it in quantities, smaller quantities to Ghana. What it means is that if they bring that smaller quantity to Aplau, he gets paid something small, and then he goes to his market to sell. The only thing GRA will get is the VAT that you get at the port. But in terms of if I will bring the quantities in containers to Temaport, that I have to pay 270,000, that I have to pay 800,000, 80,000 before I can clear the cargo. If I pay my duty finish and I'm unable to pay the shipping line local handling charges, they will not also release the container to you. Then by the time they say back and forth, then the more catch your container. These are all making the port very, very expensive. So it has nothing. When anytime people say the port is doing business at the Tema port is very expensive, it is not that GPH charges is making it very expensive, but these are some of the variables, these are some of the charges that lead to the high cost of doing business in that port. Hence, business people for the January, February, March, assuming company that used to bring, let's say, a clear, let's say 80 containers in a month, today or in a week or 2 weeks. Now it is less than 5 containers because of the duty component. It has shut up. Then these individuals import who once in a while they bring 1 container, 2 container, 3 container, 2, because of the duty, they have stopped importing. That is what is happening. The true picture in our port today, my brother.
So the person who loses is the ordinary person who goes to the market to buy, right? Because a lot of the times you are able to pass on the challenges or the burden that is being put on you. Is that what happens?
It is when you are able to clear your cargo that you can talk of increasing the price.
So you can go borrow money. You can borrow money, clear the cargo, and then increase it all.
My brother, borrow money at what interest rate? You now are very much aware. I've not even mentioned that. You know, today prime rate is 29.5%. You know, interest rate as your banking interest rate is hovering between 40 to 45%. How can you take that to pay your duty and survive? Then you collapse, and that is how some people just say, okay, I will know either I will import again, or I will import, but I will bring it to import to pay so much duties, to pay so much fees and charges, to pay so much dollarization, and so I will take my goods to Togo or Ivory Coast and find ways and means and bring my goods to the market. So you go to the market, it's there. What it means is that those goods, if the government had listened to us and did not reverse, or at the time they were reversing the benchmark values fully, they promised that they were going to give us a flat rate, a stabilized rate at the port to use in calculating the duties for, let's say, maybe 3 months or 6 months subject to review. That did not happen. The recent 2.5% VAT that was introduced in the 2023 budget, which was read in 2022, implemented January 1st January, 5th January, thereabout, 2023. If they had hold a little bit, because you have just reversed the total benchmark value, where Ghanaians were paying 80,000 to clear for the cargo, suddenly they are paying over 150,000, over 200,000. So you have quadrupled the cost of doing business. You have caused fear and panic. That's what is happening. That is why our port is empty. It is not that our port doesn't have the space to occupy cargo. It is not that our port doesn't have the equipment to handle cargo, but this is the reason. And now if one brings the cargo and you cannot cough that amount of money to pay, you cannot cough the shipping line handling charges to pay, then at the end of the day, they will auction it to somebody who has not even gone anywhere to let's say 20,000 or to 10,000. Then why would I bring it? They will not even say, okay, Let us auction it to the owner who even bring this cargo. But they will give to somebody because they think that if they do that, the person will continue doing those things. That is how bad it is. So it is when you clear the cargo from the port, then you can say, okay, I've spent so much, then I also have to push it to you, to me, the consumer. Because mind you, I speak for importing as well as using.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I am not a consumer. My wife also goes to the same market that your wife goes.
Something we call ourselves a gateway to Africa, and indeed we service our ports, service Burkina, Niger, Mali. Have they also stopped using our port as a result, or they still come through?
Completely. I mean, we have lost transit cargo to Benin, to Africa. We have. That one I cannot hide it. We have lost it. We lost transit cargo too as well.
Let's be praying. Thank you for speaking to us.
I'm grateful.
That's Samson Asaki Awingobit. He is Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We've made frantic efforts to hear from the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. We've not been successful. If they agree to speak to us, we'll put them on the platform. Please stay with 97.3 Citi FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa!
Bobo, so how's your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you can feel better energy. Can't touch this. Actually, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that. Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz, and he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer. The other day, I visited Kweku at his spunky new office to congratulate him on opening his business. And man, was I impressed. The business is just moving quick. The sales, customers, everything is just working seamlessly. The secret? He said,
it's MTN Business Broadband. In this fast-paced environment, we need fast and reliable internet to support all business types. No laggy online meetings, great download and upload speeds, impeccable business management systems, all inclusive. I mean, you can have it all.
Sharp! I signed on immediately.
To enable your business stay ahead and stay connected, make sure you're signed on to the best internet made just for businesses. MTN Business Broadband. Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh and manage your account on my MTN app. Call 0244 308 111 for more information. We are good together everywhere you go.
Haven't you heard?
EGL's Ramadan Easter promotion.
Dear customer, Assalamu alaikum.
Ramadan Kareem.
Electroland Ghana Limited is offering you quality products from Samsung, Toshiba, Nasco, and Media. Choose your choice. Media AC, Samsung AC, Nasco AC. Sell confusion at your bazaar.
Ramadan Mubarak.
With 229 Ghana cedis, get yourself a Nasco gas stove. Buy one, get one free. So stocks last. With 1,099 Ghana cedis, a Nasco television is yours. Grab your TV ranging from 32 inches, 40 inches to 98 inches. I tell you.
Simply put it, all types of refrigerators and washing machines, microwaves and sound bars are available this Easter and Ramadan.
Electroland Ghana Limited Easter promotion. Don't let this opportunity pass you by.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. The Deputy Ranking Member on Parliament's Education Committee, Dr. Clement Appak, has chastised the government over its failure to pay caterers under the school feeding program. Currently, caterers under the school feeding program in the Ashanti region have withdrawn their services over unpaid arrears and government's failure to increase the fee for the cost per child. Speaking to Citi News, Dr. Clement Appak said this was negatively affecting academic.
The school feeding program was instituted in 2005, and the purpose was to ensure that people from less endowed backgrounds were assured of a meal a day to protect them from short-term hunger. And the purpose was to ensure that it enticed parents to send their wards to school. This was to increase enrollments and to retain the pupils in school. But given the current arrangement, where government has failed to pay the caterers, for which reason many of them have even stopped cooking to feed the peoples, it is defeating the purpose for which the program was instituted. So it is not just about owing the caterers, but it is also because we have a situation where the remittance per child is 97 pesos. Who in this economy can feed a child at 97 pesos? Can we even feed our pets at home, pet cats and pet dogs, at 97 pesos a day? So it's an indictment on the Akosua-led government, and we ought to call them out.
Dr. Clement Apak also says the minority will haul the gender and education ministers before Parliament to answer to questions on the school feeding program, as well as delays in the payment of the capitation grants.
Well, as a matter of fact, we've already filed questions on both issues. And so, yes, we are hoping that the questions, when admitted and slated, the minister will come to Parliament and respond to why we still owe capitation grants, to why head teachers at the basic school level should continue to be burdened with having to run public basic schools when indeed monies have been made available. On the issue of the school feeding program, we've also filed questions to the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection. So as the NDC, we are doing our part. But unfortunately, it looks like the MPP side is not willing to call a spade a spade. They have been part of the reason making excuses for their ministers and their government. And we are calling on them to put Ghana first.
Dr. Clement Apak is Member of Parliament for Busa South and also Deputy Ranking Member on Parliament's Education Committee. Let's move away from education because family of the immigration officer who was killed in Boku on Monday is urgent security agencies investigating the murder to expedite the process. The officer, who was with two other officers, were shot by unknown gunmen in Boku in the Upper East region while they were in a private vehicle. One of the officers lost his life while the other sustained injuries. Speaking during a visit by top officials of the service at the home of the slain officer, the relative, Cephas Monte, said justice must be served.
The unfortunate news of the demise of our brother, friend, family member, Philip. It was a very hurtful one. It was devastating. It was a very cruel way in which a person possibly could go back to service officer. And those of us who grew up with him, who have lived with him all these years, we are still left in shock. I have lived my entire life with him, so I'm in serious shock. The family is saddened by this loss. It's a great loss. We are only hoping that you will take steps to liaise with other security agencies to bring the perpetrators of this heinous and barbaric act to book.
Cephas Monte is relative of the immigration officer who was killed in Boku on Monday. Meanwhile, the Comptroller General of the Ghana Immigration Service, Kwame Esuatichi, assured the family of a thorough probe.
My head of operations, the person of Deputy Comptroller General, Lord Afifa, is in the north with some officers. They will also visit the other two officers who were hit and were in critical condition, but by the grace of God and the doctors, they are stable. I had the information Monday around 8:15 from the regional commander of the Upper East, and quickly decided to inform the head of operations to check. So by the time I sent the information to head of operation, Mr. FIFA. He had also sent it to me. So immediately, we had to inform national security. National security were also aware. So there was communication between the three of us and national security, including my minister. Monday was a difficult, I would say, night to early morning for me, even though I don't sleep early. I couldn't sleep. Well, I couldn't just imagine this callous, barbaric act of just straying into a private vehicle on armed officers who are in mufti. I mean, I just couldn't imagine. And was praying that they will survive. Unfortunately, as I said, Philip could not survive.
Otchere is the Controller General of the Ghana Immigration Service.
This Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Let's talk about some other issues having to do with fees and charges and the lamentations that are following same. The Online Drivers Union has welcomed a directive by the DVLA for all digital transport operators to hold the collection of what is known as the new digital transport fee. But they actually want more than that. Let me speak to the chair lady of the National Alliance of Digital Drivers Union, Elizabeth Ryan. Madam, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you.
Please tell us, first of all, what this digital transport fee is.
Well, it just came onto the scene. We weren't pre-informed about it, i.e. the drivers were not pre-notified about it. The ride-hailing app just popped it up and said, well, they're going to charge 1 cedi. But lo and behold, it appears that Bolt was charging 3 cedis, apparently. Uber's notification was 1 cedi for this digital transport fee, which I think Bolt was calling it booking fee. And this was to our surprise. But then what I have chanced on some documents today, which clearly shows that this actually was a directive from DVLA, which came out on the 10th of March 2023. I have sent it to one of Togai Kwabena, and it's clear that it's the DVLA that passed us. For some time now, they have been trying to levy this. DVLA have been trying to levy the online driving fraternity, and we have been opposing it. But I think they have eventually found some way to bring it out, and that is to actually tax the riders. Nevertheless,
now that the suspension has happened, that should be welcome news, or you're saying that is not enough?
Oh, that is great news. We want more than that. That is fantastic news because we opposed it. The drivers, we opposed it so many times, and they just found another way to bring it in. And it's a great news because if this wasn't stopped, in a few weeks' time, they would increase it. And if you break it down, you realize that it's a hefty levy for 1 cedi, 2 cedi for each trip. Can you imagine if one person uses Uber 3 times a day or 4 times a day times the whole week? How much taxes are you then paying for it? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. So it's just another way of extorting money.
So what?
This is a call for regulation, proper regulation of this industry from the government.
So what's the way forward?
Well, yes, the way forward is what I've just said, that this industry has to be properly regulated by the government. But in this particular case, I think it is worth getting the record straight that indeed DVLA actually imposed it. And it's good they have cancelled it. So I've chanced on the 2 letters that came out.
Very well. We just play the wait and see game, won't we? And see what happens. Continue with your campaign. We'll continue with our observation.
Yes, of course. But then, we have to work hand in hand in indeed. I mean, yesterday something amazing also happened. Is that one of our drivers, or not one, a few of our drivers were arrested behind the Children's Hospital. And if you're familiar with that road, you realize that there is no one-way sign there. And indeed, it isn't not a one-way sign. But then we had some police officers who were standing there, two of them, and were arresting drivers, falsely accusing them of using one-way system. And these drivers were using the Google map, right, to travel around. And when they told them that they were taking them to the police, to the station, the police officers, who were Lance Corporals, took them to AMA office. Remember that they were not in the company of AMA. They were on their own operating. And if a police officer arrests you, the police officer should take you to the police station, not to an AMA office. And they go there and tell them that the fine is 360 Ghana cedis, and they begin to bargain the fine with those who claim not to have money, from 360 to even a bottle of Coke. And so yesterday I had to move in, take some videos, go to the road that is apparently the one way, and took a comprehensive video of the whole place. And this thing just had to stop because
I think this is not part of the discussion, but thank you. What I would advise is that please take it up with them. As we speak, I cannot authenticate what you're saying. That's one. Two, we don't know whether these are police officers your people encountered or city guards, because they sometimes dress similar. So I don't know.
They don't actually. I sent the video, so I think we will deal with that issue.
Okay. Yes, please. Yes, please. And so you can deal with the city authority, the assembly, the AMA, and also possibly the police administration. And we'll revert to you later to see what comes out of that. But thank you for speaking to us tonight.
You're most welcome.
That's Elizabeth Ryan. She is chairlady of the National Alliance of Digital Driver Unions. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. It's now time for business news.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens. Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
Time now for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News, powered by citibusinessnews.com. My name is Akosua, Otchere. Let's settle for the details. An economist, Professor Godfrey Bockwing, says the reduction of Ghana's growth rate by the World Bank was to be expected due to the ongoing economic challenges. The World Bank lowered the country's growth rate to under 2.0% in 2023, placing it at the 29th position. This is lower than the 2.7% earlier projected. The global body explained that low growth rate in the country is due to heightened microeconomic instability in the country.
Well, it's not surprising. It's consistent with the underlying data and what the data is telling us in terms of the outcome. The 2023 budget itself, government had lowered our GDP growth for 2023 to 2.8% from the projection of 2022. That is largely consistent with the immediate impact of the fiscal consolidation measures, which will have implications for growth, employment, and income. From when government presented the 2023 budget, where growth was projected to 2.8%, from that time to now, if you look at what the economy has gone through, that tells you that even the 2.8% that the government projected in the 2023 budget cannot be achieved, because we have gone through a very expensive domestic debt exchange. Remember how much government gained from the domestic debt exchange in terms of fiscal savings is how much the private sector and households have lost. So in terms of liquidity losses to the banks, it will affect lending to private sector, lending to households. So if you put all these things together, you realize that our growth outcome for 2023 cannot be something that we can celebrate.
Economist Professor Godfrey Bockwing. Now, a digital marketing strategist, Maxwell Ametogo, has emphasized the importance of banks giving priority to the data security of their online banking customers. This, he believes, will help to reduce the number of cyber crimes that occur. He points out that a weak online banking platform has the potential to disrupt the economic growth of individual customers and the entire nation. In an interview with Citi Business News, Maxwell Ametogo called on banks to regularly update their digital infrastructure as a means of curbing incidents of cybercrime.
For those who do online banking and the rest, so for an individual, you also must understand the ecosystem you're working in. And particularly the banks must also make sure that they are also setting up a very secured platforms and gateways for their customers. Because if you are doing a lot of digitalization, security is very, very important when you even come to platform usage and privacy protection. Because you cannot guarantee people's privacy if there's no data security, right? If your platform is very vulnerable to hacking and very vulnerable to breaches, it means you cannot guarantee the protection of people's private data. So the banks must ensure that all the softwares, all the platforms, all the servers they are going to use, and all the configurations in terms of security layers are top-notch, global. Now, the next one is, of course, ensuring maintenance, because this is a software, they will have expiry date, or there may be vulnerability or bugs within it. So they must make sure the platform is constantly maintained and all vulnerabilities, cured on those platforms.
That was a cybersecurity analyst, Maxwell Ametogo. Now, the Namibian High Commissioner to Ghana, Selma Ashipala Musevi, says she is optimistic of connecting the private sector of Namibia and that of Ghana, particularly women in SMEs. She spoke to Citi Business News on the sidelines of an interaction with traditional authorities in the central region, the Koa Research and Manufacturing Company, and also a food processing company, to get a better understanding of their operations. The High Commissioner noted that her visit is also aimed at improving intra-Africa trade between the two countries.
Commissioner of Namibia to Ghana, two countries with very good relationship, and taking into account that we are living in the era of intra-African trade, being spearheaded by the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat. I decided to come to Central Region to come and explore business opportunities. What I want is to connect the private sector of Namibia and Ghana, especially women who are in SMEs, so that we can take advantage of this vast African market. I am so impressed, the level of industrialization that is taking place. All we need to do as Africans is to get to know what we are producing, then we can trade. I've seen so many opportunities. I've met vibrant women who are in the production of artifacts, foodstuff. At the moment, I'm actually at an upcoming factory where they are producing spices. So I'm very happy, and I have no doubt that my visit to the Central Region is going to be a great success.
Selma Ashipala Musevi is Namibian High Commissioner to Ghana. Finally, Glyco Life Insurance Ghana has emphasized the importance of obtaining life insurance as a means of mitigating the financial impact of unexpected death on loved ones. The insurance company stressed that the current economic climate further underscores the necessity of this measure. During a media interview held alongside the presentation of claims to the family of the late soldier who lost his life in a shaman, Sheriff Umaru, the chief sales officer of Glyco Life Insurance, John Ekasmart, urged the public to take steps towards securing a policy.
Every insurance is very different. If you look at other aspects of insurance, which is motor and life insurance, they are two different things. For life insurance, so far as you pay your premium, when something happens, you don't need any other person to come with you to get your claim. So it makes it very simple. But when we only talk about insurance of vehicles and other things that delays, that is where the fear is. So I think it is also very important for the media to jump into this space and educate the public on what type of insurance are there and how do you get your claims. Is it difficult? It's not difficult. As a claim, you don't need any third party to help you with this claim. When this issue came up, nobody contacted us. We know that he has a policy with us. We know that the policy has a death benefit. So we followed up with him. It goes with all other insurance policies. So it is not as difficult, but it needs more explanation to all who are eligible to pay the premiums for the protections they need.
John Eckersmart is Chief Sales Officer of Glyco Life Insurance. And that's all for City Business News on Eyewitness News. It was powered by your most comprehensive business website, citybusinessnews.com. My name is Akosua Otchere. Up next is Point Blank.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You know, Papa, see that? And it's rickety car. Hey, Papa! Papa!
Bobo, so how's your engine now?
It is half man, half amazing. Thanks to Cause and you. Don't feel better energy. Can't touch this. Charlie, guys, so Sancho's engine just died like that? Yes, so somebody managed to convince him that there is a better engine oil than Quartz. And he switched. Sancho Panza. Now, which engine oil can be better than Quartz? No other, my guy. Quartz with its age-resistant technology, it keeps your engine younger for longer. Now you know. Have you guys seen the new bottle design? It's superb. Quartz 9000 from Total Energies there improves fuel efficiency. Why do you think Mr. Mane and Logoso have taken the Quartz Nation movement World Cup like that? Sorry. Chairman. Quartz. Keep your engine younger for longer. Yes, it's NASCO Small Appliances Flash Sales Promo. You stay in or get outside. Happy times with your family, picnics, and more. Get go with the iconic NASCO Small Appliances. Your NASCO Kettle, 99 Ghana cedis. Blenders, 279. NASCO Coffee Maker is going for 139 Ghana cedis. Portable Dry Iron, 99 Ghana. Portable Water Boiler, 129 Ghana cedis. Standing Fan, 299. High Quality Popcorn Maker, 259 Ghana cedis. You can take these anywhere as a joyous festive season awaits Ramadan and Easter. Blenders Sandwich Maker. Yes, it is love from NASCO. And for those who want to stay indoors this season, go for your NASCO TV, AC, fridges, washing machines, and more. The iconic NASCO Small Appliances will take you everywhere.
Call 024-243-9437.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
My name is Umaru, Sanda. Tonight on Point Blank, we're focusing on the Ghana's economy. There's a big lecture happening at the University of Ghana. The mark the university's 75th anniversary. The lecture is on the theme, Restructuring the National Economy, the Need for a Paradigm Shift. The lecture is by Dr. Yao Graham of the Third World Network. Let's tap into that lecture now.
And international trade makes up more than GDP. When you have that size of international trade in your economy, it makes you vulnerable to the volatilities and vicissitudes of the international economy. And of course, if you are exporting raw commodities, the volatilities of commodities are a key part of the landscape. You import finished products, so you face challenges. It also means that, of course, the linkages between the sectors of your economy are weak. Okay? So the reproduction of primary commodity export dependence over years, of course, is not a self-determining process. It is perpetuated or transformed by the policy choices, the economic and political contestation within the country over its continuation or discontinuation among the beneficiaries and losers, as well as the internal balance of political and social forces. The primary commodity export, in a certain sense, historically, has defined the parameters and the challenges for development and transformation in Ghana. Those challenges on the spectrum. Different governments have responded differently to these challenges. I mean, they have responded seeing it. Take Nkrumah, for example, who saw this as a fundamental obstacle to transformation and creating, a life for the Ghanaian people. Jerry Rawlings, when he came to power, saw the collapsed economy as something which was blamable on corruption and bad leadership, and all that was required was to clean it up, get some decent people, and everything would be all right. So his historic contribution was to refurbish this primary commodity export-dependent economy and lay the foundation for the continuities that we have had since 1984. I like to needle my middle-class friends, particularly those on the political right who hate Jerry Rawlings, that they owe him a debt of gratitude. Because contrary to their imagination, that the best leader of Jerry Rawlings is actually the founder of the modern Ghanaian economy. The person who completed the post-1966 coup project of reversing everything Nkrumah tried to do. Jerry Rawlings, Buzi